I too will be able to buy a big property. So buy a land, build that property, put it on rent and list it on the exchange. My name is Arpit Arora. I'm India's leading personal finance expert and passive income coach. And I'm on that quest to change the middle class of India and transform their financial life in such a way that they are able to have the potential to follow their passion. They have the focus to follow their passion. They are not distracted by money because they're creating enough passive income. And most importantly, they're able to live with inner peace and joy. And that, my friends, happens by winning the game of money. That happens when you upgrade your financial IQ, and that most importantly happens when you are committed to achieve financial freedom in your life, because it cannot happen without a commitment. And it is my commitment to make sure you get all the support that you need to walk and achieve that destination. What is an REIT? REIT is Real Estate Investment Trust. When a company who creates real estate properties, puts them on rent, commits to pay 85% rental in distribution to the people who will buy, create that trust, put it on the exchange, comes under the purview of SEBI, and the trust starts trading. It is called a listed REIT. REIT can also be unlisted, by the way. So REIT simply is office parks in India's context, or any sort of real estate which gives you interest income can be an REIT. India mein mostly IT office parks hi hai as of date. There is another method of investment called InVITs, which is Infrastructure Investment Trust. Same thing as REITs, but the difference here is this is not a property, this is an infrastructure-based investment. This could be power transmission, it could be toll roads, it could be similar things जो infrastructure से related है. Concept is exactly the same. You create all of that infra is bought into a trust. That trust gets listed on the exchange, or it does not get listed. So in both cases, it could be a listed or unlisted InvIT. Both exist in India today. And many companies are running to get their InVITs listed. As on this date, there are 3 REITs and 3 listed InVITs. And for us, we can only invest in the listed ones. So hamara domain will restrict to listed only for the discussion. Now, the question is, which one should you invest in and what parameters to choose? So I'm going to share a snapshot of a CRISIL report, which had these different parameters. So I'm going to walk you through them. So when you talk about power transmission happens in InVITs. The earning risk is low risk, counterparty risk is low, operating risk is low, regulatory risk is low, interest rate risk is moderate. This is the lowest possible way through which you can take a stake in REITs or InVIT. Currently, power transmission mein we have 2 InVITs in India. Do you know which ones they are? First is IndiGrid, as it is widely known. The second one is PowerGrid. So IndiGrid and PowerGrid are 2 companies who are in the power transmission in the InVIT space. Then there is the roads, HAM roads. Then there is, so the difference here is the risk they have is of operations. It's an operating risk model. Everything else is on a low risk. When we talk about gas pipeline, the earning risk is high, regulatory risk is high, interest rate risk is high. Toll road. Now, toll road again has 3 medium risks of interest, operations, and earning as well. Do we know any toll road InVIT? IRB. IRB is a company listed on the stock exchange as well. They also have an InVIT. This is so we had invested in IRB in 2020, made double-digit returns in 3 to 6 months. This again is not as safe as power transmission, which is IndiGrid and PowerGrid funds. Now you come even further, where the risk category is all the same for renewable energy, telecom infra, and commercial real estate, which is REITs. They all have earning risk and counterparty risk and interest rate risk. The only risk that they are safe on is regulatory and operational. Now, so what do we understand from this? This one simple thing that we understand is the power InVITs are safer than infra InVITs, which is safer than REITs. So if you look in the risk category, as per what Crystal says, power InVIT is the safest, to which I agree. They say infra InVITs are safer than that, to which I disagree. I'm going to tell you why. And then REITs, which are the safest. In return wise, I don't think this is true, because let me show you something. I want to show you something where you'll be able to see कि exactly ऐसा हो नहीं रहा है, what they're showing you in terms of safety. So let me take you on my screen and let me show you something. So power grid का अगर मैं आपको InVIT की बात करूं, so this is ever since inception. You see, it was launched in May 21. It has gone up by 25% since the last 1.5 years, let's say. So it's a double-digit return. If you look at the dividend yield, it's 9.32%, which is good, right? Same thing with India Grid. So if I talk about India Grid, or let's call it Indie Grid, share price, Indie Grid, share price. Okay, here we go. What do we see? It was launched close to at 90 rupees in 2017. So isko 5 saal ho gaye. 5 saal mein it has given 52% return, which is 10% on an average year on year. Dividend yield 9%. Wonderful. These are the safest ones. Now I'm going to take you to, as per the CRISIL report says, कि IRB, which is into toll road. अब इसका अगर मैं आपसे InVIT share करूँ ना, when you look at the price, you will be surprised. This was launched 5 years ago at 87. I think their fair value price would be 100. It got undersubscribed at 87. And then it went down as much as 27 rupees. The dividend yield, although is 12%, but it has eroded the capital of that person. So 25% to आपका capital erosion हुआ है by investing into this, and this is after a major rebound. So someone during the period of until 2020, 2021, had they invested, would have taken out so much money, despite, as per CRISIL, being a safe investment. So I don't think that is true, because if you look at same thing in Embassy, if you look at it, this thing is still in positive in the last 5 years with a 6% yield, which is a better return than what this has given. If you look at other listed REITs, let's take Mindspace. Again, if you look at it, this has given a 10% return since August 20, which is 2.5 years, with a 5% dividend yield. So the returns might be less in REIT, but safety wise, if the claim is being made that infra InVITs are safer, that existentially is not true. So the safest way to invest again needs to go by, when you choose the price, rather, I've already told you what is what, but should you still invest at this price? No. Why? Because the answer is very simple. It is the price that will define if you're going to make money out of it or not. So if you haven't paid enough attention to the price, you haven't given enough importance to the price, if you're not buying at value, even if you buy the best of the InVITs, power InVITs, still you will make a loss out of it. 3 REITs, Embassy, Mindspace, and forget forgetting the name of the third one. Blackstone, BlackRock, something like that. It doesn't matter. 3 listed REITs are there. 3 listed InVITs are there. If I was to categorize in terms of risk, yes, power grid InVITs are safest. REITs and infra REITs are, in fact, I would change the sequence. REITs are safer than infra InVITs, because infra InVITs, there is only one listed and that one is very, very volatile. But that's just the risk. When we talk about return will only come from what price are you going to buy it at? Because we made more returns from infra InVITs than power InVITs and REITs. Why? Because we use price as the main denomination. If I was to take you back to this, just for your real understanding of it, IRB InVIT, we bought it, like I told you, we had bought it during 2020. So we bought it between the price range of 32 to 40 rupees, and we exited around 50 rupees per se. At that time, the dividend yield, what you're seeing 12%, was 18% or so. So we bought it during a period when we saw it was extremely cheap than the true value of the REIT. But now, then the InVIT. But now I won't invest in it, despite it giving a 12% return, because the trajectory is still a negative trajectory. And we saw the corporate governance, it was weak. So we don't want to unnecessarily invest our money into a place where we're not sure. Okay, so this is the whole context behind it. If you talk about the listed REITs across the world, these are the biggest ones. Again, I will share the image for you to see by yourself. You can see a clearer image of this. The listed REITs across the world, there are 200 in United States. There are 64 in Japan. India has 3. The good news on this, that the future of REITs in India is such that the SEBI is planning micro REITs as well. So typically REITs currently is that one company owns multiple city-based properties and then they get it listed. A micro REIT would mean that I buy this property, and this one property I let, and then I can list it on the exchange. अगर आप इसका मतलब सही मानने में समझ पा रहे हो, तो this is going to change the way how people will invest in real estate. Understand this. I too will be able to buy a big property, buy a land, build that property, put it on rent and list it on the exchange, just like how small companies get listed on the SME through the IPO on the small board exchange. The same way, even a small construction company or small builder can also buy a land, build the property, get it rented, and then finally put it on this exchange. So you don't have to be a big group like Embassy or Lodha or DLF. And this will change the way how people are going to buy REITs, because these don't need stamp duty. These don't need paying money to the broker. This does not need paying, registering the property as well. So all of that cost, which almost costs you 10% to procure, and you don't need to maintain the property, you don't need to secure the property, security, maintenance, everything is taken care of by them. So are you really able to understand the gravity of what is about to happen if more of this starts happening? And to let you in, Hira Nandani, Lodha, DLF, all of these people are in the process of getting their REITs, and these will be bigger ones. Once that space is established, then the micro REITs are going to take over. So next 2, 3 years, 4 years in the REIT space is going to be fantastic. Like, you literally will not need to go out and buy a property. You can buy a property sitting from your home digitally without paying those sort of expenses. Isn't that crazy? That is exactly what is happening in the space. And SEBI of all people are wanting to boost it. So when those opportunity comes, your mindset should be open. The skills we will provide, the opportunities we'll share, but your mindset has to be open towards it.